Hello everyone, my name is Claudius Maynor and today I'll be speaking to you guys about Jungian Archetypes. Well, you might be wondering where the name Jungian comes from, but it comes from the name Carl Gustav Jung, or C.G. Jung as he was often referred to. He was a Swiss psychiatrist and psychotherapist who founded analytical psychology and developed the understanding of archetypes that I'll be talking to you guys about today. Carl Gustav Jung, in his book The Archetypes and the Collective Unconscious, believed that the events of nature were not simply put into fairy tales and myths as a way of explaining them physically. Rather, the outer world was used to make sense of the inner. He noted that the symbols we use to explain these mysteries of life, art, religion, and mythology were replaced by psychology. But the problem with psychology is that it lacked an understanding of the self. Jung believed that one's life goal should be to understand themselves as an individual, which means understanding both their unconscious and conscious minds. However, here is where it gets a bit tricky. Jung believed that to understand an individual's uniqueness, they had to go beyond the personal self, to understand the functions of the universal unconscious, which he believed formed the basis for human expression. The collective unconscious is a unique component in that Jung believed that this part of the psyche served as a form of psychological inheritance. It contains all the knowledge and experiences we share as a species. Now you might be wondering, what does all of this have to do with archetypes? Well, Jung believes that the collective unconscious was expressed through archetypes. Archetypes are recurring patterns of images, situations, or symbols found in mythology, religions, art, and dreams. Or in simpler terms, archetypes are models of people, behaviors, or personalities that universally represent the traits of its successors and predecessors. Or to put it even more simply, an archetype is simply a generic version of a personality or type of person. Archetypes have been expressed as myths, fairy tales, dreams, visions, and in anthropology they are referred to as collective representations. Now before I begin, I would like to clear something up real quick. Now some of you may be wondering, what's the difference between an archetype and a stereotype? Well, simply put, a stereotype is the attribution of a personality based on one's type. This is usually negative. But an archetype, on the other hand, is the attribution of a type based on one's personality. This is usually neutral. The first archetype that I'll be talking about today is the anima. The anima means soul with a female form. In mythology, it is expressed as a siren, a mermaid, a wood nymph, or any form which infatuates young men and sucks the life out of them. An anima is present when a man projects the feminine aspects within his psyche onto an actual woman. This woman grows in importance and makes herself present in the life of the man, either by infatuation, idealization, or fascination. The loss of his anima can be truly devastating to a man. On the hit show Scandal, Olivia Pope is Fitz' anima. He loves and adores Olivia to the point where he is willing to give up his family and his presidency, taking on public scorn by doing so, just to be with Olivia and to make her happy. The animus is the female version of the male anima. However, it is highly complex. Jung contends that the female animus is so complex that it appears in 4 parallel levels of development. First, it appears as a man of mere physical power, such as Hulk. Then, as a man of action, such as Thor, or romance, such as Mr. Big from Sex and the City. Then, a man as a professor, clergy, or orator, such as the wonderfully talented Tony Stark, or Iron Man as we know him. and finally as a man who is a guide to understanding, such as Captain America. Next, the shadow. The shadow is an archetype that consists of the sex and life instincts. This archetype is often described as the darker side of the psyche, representing wildness, chaos, and the unknown. The shadow exists as a part of the unconscious mind and is composed of repressed ideas, weaknesses, desires, instincts, and shortcomings. Dexter is the perfect example of the shadow archetype, as he is a detective by day and a serial killer by night. In the very beginning, he does his killing unconsciously and would actually attempt to solve the murders he had unknowingly committed. When he became aware of this, he hides this dark aspect of his life from everyone he knows. Dexter kills these men out of instinct if he feels that they are not paying for the crimes that they have committed. Next, the hero. The hero has a core desire to prove their worth through courageous acts. Their goal is to gain mastery in ways that will improve the world, and they fear weakness and vulnerability or being perceived as such. They want to appear as strong and as competent as possible, but usually their weakness is their arrogance and their unwavering desire for battle. The hero is a competent and courageous superhero, crusader, or dragon slayer. The hero normally has unusual circumstances of birth, leaves family to live with others, they experience a traumatic event that leads to a quest, operates a special weapon, and has supernatural help. Wonder Woman is the perfect example of the hero. She is the daughter of Queen Hippolyta, the firstborn child on Paradise Island, and at birth she was given supernatural gifts by 6 members of the Greek pantheon. Her quest began when she disobeyed her mother and entered a contest to be the emissary that the Amazons would send into the man's world. There, she was forced to live away from her mother, but on her journey she was given the lasso of truth and the sandals of Hermes. The ruler. He believes that power isn't everything. It's the only thing. He has a core desire to control, and his main goal is to create a prosperous, successful family or community by exercising power. He fears chaos and being overthrown. He has a talent for responsibility and leadership. The ruler is also known as the boss, leader, aristocrat, king, queen, politician, role model, manager, or administrator. Anyone who is familiar with the series Game of Thrones understands why the Lannisters are perfect for this archetype. They crave control at all costs and will kill anyone that tries to undermine their authority. Don't let their sweet smiles fool you. These guys are brutal savages who desire power more than they do food. Just look at the picture on the right that someone made comparing the patriarch Tywin Lannister to the Godfather. Finally, the persona. The persona is how we present ourselves to the world. The word persona is derived from a Latin word that literally means mask. It is not a literal mask, however. The persona represents all of the different social masks that we wear among different groups and situations. It acts to shield the ego from negative images. Emily Thorne, or should I say Amanda Clark, is the perfect example of the persona archetype. In order to revenge her father's false imprisonment and subsequent murder, Amanda Clark changes her identity to Emily Thorne and goes undercover as a Hampton socialite and eventually marries the son of the parents that are responsible for her father's death. When others uncover the secret, she is forced to exist in the same world as 2 different people. The end. And that, my friends, is archetypes. If I should leave you with anything, I want you guys to remember that archetypes are recurring patterns of images, situations, or symbols found in mythology, religions, art, and dreams. Thank you.